Stay tuned for tonight's adventure with the Fat Man.
Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope it's good to be where you are because I'm really excited to be here today. My name is Baltimore Fats, and this is Wishing Well. Yeah. Okay, so emboldened by the decriminalization of misdemeanors, I decided to embark on some good old-fashioned trespassing. And that's going to be the focus of the next episode. But, I was going around and I was climbing all over St. Paul's Rectory here, and I went back down and I had my altimeter out, which I remembered I had in my phone this time. And I took some heights to try to get a sense of, how high off sea level we are here and everything. And so as I was walking back from the park here, I was coming up Pleasant Street this time. And this is what I found. Check this out. That window well goes really deep. I don't know if you can see. Let's try some stills here. And now I did take a couple stills, which I'll show you, and it was in the light of day. Actually, it was kind of hard to see. It certainly, the camera lens definitely helped me out looking at this stuff. But so, I came up, I was coming again. It was another one of these steep hills that runs parallel to, like I said, Saratoga and Mulberry. Pretty steep hill. As I was coming up, I happened to notice that this was all chewed up here. And at one point, this must have been all one concrete patch-up job here. And when you look at the side view of this building from Google Earth, you can see the full patch-up. It looks like this. You can see they followed this whole thing, right? So that's coming undone, and it really caught my attention. All right, and so I did take a couple stills, but I didn't feel, as I was doing it, I didn't feel I was getting very good stills. Kind of cool. You could see this lead or rope or whatever string hanging down. I didn't see that I didn't see that in real time, so I don't know how that, what that connects to. All right, and I think that's it because I decided that the video was doing just as well. And so here we go with the rest of the video on it. Okay, so my Mr. Stick is dangling from its lead. Let's see. Can't get a good shot. And now my wrist is flush with the grate here. Out of it. All right, there he is. I mean, he's almost at the bottom there, but that's 57 inches plus the lead. And so I'm going to say that's about 62 inches. Still swinging freely to the bottom of this window well, which is bricked up. Is that another window down there? All right, and again, it was a little bit darker. It was harder to see, and so I'm glad I can get the detail from the camera. That is absolutely some other opening down there. Let's see if I can figure out how far down that is. By the way, I'm just lying down in the middle of the street. Shoot. Okay. Okay. So I'm catching it. I'm catching it there. So it's not going to be quite exact, but I'm going to say from about 4 feet from the top of this grate to the start of that next opening, that next window down there, whatever that was at one time, that is 4 feet below the street level. Easy. Actually, the sidewalk level, but, All right.
Interesting. I don't know. Hard to... But that is definitely an opening of some sort. I mean, they have put that all... They've done something to it. Doesn't look like it has the standard vertical bricks of the...
And of course, as you've been, if you have a watchful eye, the vertical bricks have been there. I just couldn't see them in the light. And I do catch it a little bit here.
The old style windows. But maybe over there, they might have had that at one point. Very interesting. All right. Super curious and fun.
And so now now I'm just, like, my mind is racing about this house. What is this building? Right? It's on the corner of East Pleasant Street here. And so let's get down there. Wait a minute, this isn't it. What have you done to me here? There it is, the Women's Exchange, right? This is the building. All right, here's the Google Earth image. As I was saying, you can kind of see that, yeah, it was one full concrete patch. Oh, yeah, good. Hopefully that demonstrated that I went up another steep hill. Right? And so here's the window there. And this, I failed to take a picture of this side for some reason. I know, because I went across the street to take a picture of the front side. But, so here's that first window and the grate there. So it's another 4 feet down to that next window. Right? That was clearly like a window type opening because it did have the vertical bricks, as we saw. All right, so that's really unbelievable. And so, I got up and I started to walk across the street, and then there's this. There's right on this front wall here. Right? This property has been placed on the National Registry of Historic Places by the United States Department of the Interior. And I was like, yes, I'm going to get some history on this place. I'm going to get to know when the building was built and so forth. So now I'm like, but what is the address? I want to know. And this is the front of it. And so I wanted to zoom in and see if I could get a number off the front of that door. It's unbelievable. It's 333. I mean, it's really, at this point, it's hard to believe that I'm not directed in some way, shape, or form into this. I mean, how is it that I found this address? 33 1/3, right? You get 9. You can, open these up to make 8s. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So I was like, okay, what can I find out about the building? All right. And so, there's a jeweler in there, or there was perhaps at one point. And I think that's interesting given like jeweler's relation to the story of, like diamonds are prism, right? And glass and gold coming in the way it has a little bit there at the end with the solid gold thing. I think there's no coincidence that there's a jeweler, or was perhaps a jeweler, in this place at one time. And, but there's apartments for rent in it, which I think is kind of cool. And so I was kind of hoping to find some information about when it was built, right? And I'm also kind of surprised that there's not anything about it being on the National Registry. All right. And this is the first mention I get of a year. This says the apartment was built in 1900, which is kind of interesting for me. The apartment was, or the house was? When was the house built? Right, but nothing about it being on the National Registry. I couldn't believe that. You would think that would be, now we get into the Women's Industrial Exchange building, which is what it was. All right, and we'll come back to that. What was the National Register of Historic Places? More government control of our history started when? In 1966. So, I followed it through, and I found the National Register of Historic Places listing in central Baltimore. And so I'm scrolling down, and they have the list, and right, so now I'm like, all right, I got my fingers crossed. 33, 33, 33. Nope, 33 is the Bromo Tower. So I'm scrolling along, and they make you really work for it. It's 100 out of 102. You gotta go all the way down to the end for it. But here it is. So the Women's Industrial Exchange. And essentially what this was, it was like the first Etsy shop. It consists of a townhouse erected in 1815. And so now we're talking. That's an early date. All right, with a large 5-story structure appended to the rear, All right, the building was purchased in 1860 as a boarding house when she added this rear wing here. All right, so I'm guessing this original front structure here is what was 1815. The shop window here was added in 1900. And so, yeah, essentially what the Women's Industrial Exchange was a bunch of like women and housewives and maybe widows, post-Civil War era. They were taking their crafts, their quilting and their knitting and crocheting or whatever it was they were working on, and they were selling it out of this storefront, and they called it the Industrial Exchange. All right, so really fascinating. But now with this date of 1815, I mean, that's one of the oldest buildings in Baltimore. At least like these brick structures. We have the Carroll House. We have St. Paul's Rectory, 1791, right? And so this is what I'm going to be doing coming up. I'm going to be looking at, and see now this is I believe this is 1822. I just discovered this new file size or whatever that allows me to get really nice clear images of these maps, or this download to the Library of Congress. But unfortunately, I clicked away from the source and kept it downloaded. I didn't write the date on it. But I believe this is the 1822 plan. All right, and so the neighborhood we're looking at is like right here. All right, that's Saratoga. All right, so Charles. It might very well be this corner house right here. But I'm going to be looking deeper at these maps, especially this neighborhood, right? This is that slanty street that goes by through the park. But I was just unbelievably excited to find that second window down below. Where is it? I didn't get a good still of it, but let's bring on the video. It's not that long. So I was just so excited to find this sub-basement window here, 4 feet below sidewalk level on this building, and I just wanted to share that. And this is what I've been doing now, as long as they'll let me, and as long as they're not going to prosecute misdemeanor offenses like trespassing. So more to come. I hope you enjoyed this one, and until the next one, cheers, guys.